Hey everyone, it's Mel. Today we are planting tomatoes. We're going to talk about what type of tomatoes should we plant. Should we plant indeterminate or determinate? Depends on your space and your needs. We'll talk about that. Also, how deep can we plant our tomatoes? If you don't already know, it may surprise you. And what can we use to ensure that we have healthy, full, rich tomato growth and a great harvest at the end of the season, or actually throughout the season, depending on which plant you grow. All right, so let's get to it. First, we're going to put this girl in the ground and we're going to plant her deep. Okay, so let's talk about indeterminate versus determinate tomato. The one we're planting today, this is Better Boy tomato, and this is an indeterminate. And what that means is that she will give us fruit throughout the entire growing season, and because she doesn't have a determinate growth, she could grow all the way up this fence here, yeah? And that's what we're going to use for our indeterminate tomatoes to give them support as they continue to grow and leaf out, because the weight of the tomatoes will be substantial on the tomato vine. Oh, no mosquito. So if you're growing an indeterminate tomato, you want to make sure that you have great support. And all I do is really just attach little zip ties. As it gets bigger, it's going to grow up this fence, and I attach the zip ties to hold it upright so that the weight of the tomatoes don't make it fall down. Determinate tomatoes is just that. It just stops at a determinate height of that particular tomato type or brand or kind, and it will give you fruit or your tomatoes all at once, and then it's done. That's for a determinate. Indeterminate will fruit throughout the entire growing season up until your first frost. So a determinate tomato plant is great if you are, let's say you're planting, maybe too close. Let's say if you're planting on a patio, or if you're planting in a small area, or if you have a small space outside, a determinate tomato plant, or if you're planting in a pot even, yeah, that would be best to grow. I'll just come back in here and reweed yet again. All right, so let's get her into the ground, but let me show you first what we're gonna do. Let me see if I can get a little closer here. Because for a tomato plant, most plants, you wanna plant them up to the height of the pot they were in. But a tomato plant, you can go a little deeper, because here all of the roots will sprout out. And what you want to make sure is that you just take off the bottom few leaves of the plant, which that one is nice and healthy. I might leave her on. That one looks sad. I'm going to take her off. And we can go even deeper than the pot she was in. So let's start off with getting her a nice, secure hole. And we are going to amend the hole because, look at this weed root. I've been growing tomatoes in this location for the past, maybe now 4 or 5 years. And you really do want to replenish your soil, because even though we're going to feed our tomatoes with a delicious tomato fertilizer, we also want to make sure that we feed the soil, because in the soil, it'll also help feed our tomato. So I'm going to dig this a bit deeper. Let's test that out. Oh, that's good actually. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to amend with blood meal. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me double check. Perfect. Because that's going to help to bring back the nutrients that growing tomatoes in the same spot year after year They just suck it up from the soil. This is going to help replenish it. And you can see it says right on the bag, organic source of nitrogen, which is what helps the leaves to grow. And look, you can actually see what blood meal is really good for in terms of your fruits and veggies. I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of that all around, mix it in. I'm going to get her in the ground. And then we'll just backfill with our soil that we already have. And this area is already mulched, but it's really important that if you don't have mulch or straw, this one I might have to cut too. I don't want to go too many. That you do mulch your tomato plants, because that's going to help retain the moisture and not let it grow too dry too quickly. So mulch is important. This girl got a little bit dried out because of her container. It's best to find them if you can, like in darker, and not darker plastic, not the clear plastic, but she's fine because her leaves are super green, super strong and healthy, minus this one here. It's okay. We're gonna get her in the ground, hook her up some good stuff, some blood meal, and plant her a bit deep. This looks like 2. This is 2. I'm not gonna separate it though. Huh. Yeah, I don't want to disturb the roots too much. Look a little bit stressed already. All right, so we'll just go around and get all of our tomatoes in the ground. And just remember, we can plant our tomatoes deeper in the ground, and that way the roots of the tomatoes will grow even taller, stronger, and healthier. And this will provide a stronger, healthier tomato plant. And you want to be sure to plant your tomatoes in your garden or on your balcony or your patio, where it can get at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day. Sunlight is important for tomato growth. This is a different tomato. This is a Roma tomato, which is really great for harvesting to make tomato sauce. I'm sort of planting them a little on a slant towards my fence here. And that way that will help aid me when it's time to hook them up to our zip ties. It will already be growing naturally in this direction. I don't know if you can see this. Get you in a little closer. It's hard to tell because of the weeds, but I have baby tomato plants already coming up on their own because, again, I planted here the past 4 years and I just let some of the tomatoes fall down in the ground. I don't clean up everything until the next spring. And look, I am going to have an abundance of tomatoes this season. Very excited about that. So yeah, I still have some weeds, but that's okay because I actually weeded this bed once early spring, and then I just left it alone for a bit even though the weeds started coming back, because if I weeded it earlier I would not have actually noticed these little baby tomato plants. So sometimes it's good to leave the weeds for a bit, maybe. Actually have a bunch of tomato plants coming up here. Also, my lemon balm decided to jump out of the raised bed that it's in and come on this side of the garden as well. Oh, this is a basil plant that has clearly been in the sun for too long. Again, these clear pots are not great. I am going to compost this basil plant. I actually have more tomato plants coming up here. Again, probably from last year. And here I planted my favorite Sun Sweet or Sun Gold. So I'll let those come back. Uh-oh. Last year, in between each tomato plant, I planted a basil plant and I didn't have any bug pressure. This is from last year. Super steak tomato. And it was great. So I'm going to try that again this year. Somebody's not happy. And this year I will, another Roma, great, plant more basil plants around the tomato plant. And it's called companion planting, putting things that grow well together and help to reduce bug pressure. I think it works because last year I had great success with my tomato plants. No bugs. You know, every year in the garden is different. This year I could be speaking too soon, but it worked last year, so I'm going to try it again this year and we'll see what happens. Every year in the garden is different. Let's not forget our blood meal. Some nitrogen back in our soil. Mix that in. Slant our tomato towards the fence, backfill, tuck in nicely, and gather some mulch to go around. Now this has way too many leaves on the bottom. Yeah, this really does look like 2 plants. So I'm just gonna pinch some of those leaves off and she should be good to go. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna finish with the 2 here. Actually, that's a basil plant. I'll move her right here. I don't see any baby tomato plants growing up here, so yeah, we can put her here. And once we water them in nicely, yeah, they'll jump right back. Now here I would actually put garden tone. It's great for veggies, even though this is an herb. It works nicely for herbs too. And she needs something. She's dry and hungry. That's my fault. Get her in there nicely. Oh, one more tomato plant to go. What is this one? Ooh, my favorite sun sugar. I can't have only gotten one, but I think I'm gonna get more popping up. Sun sugar is so good. Another indeterminate tomato. She is going to produce fruit for us throughout the entire season. Let me get you close up here to her. Already she has a fruit there, and those yellow flowers, that's where our next tomatoes are going to come from. Now the trick with tomato plants, to get them to fruit, they need like vibration, which when the bees come in to pollinate or fertilize or do their bee thing, that humming, that buzzing, that's me buzzing, that's me being a bee. That vibration from the sound feels like, oh, that's one of our pollinators and it's coming to help us grow so we can get more fruit. What I do is, when it's on the fence, I literally just, let me show you. I shake the fence. And when I shake the fence, it's mimicking what the bumblebee or the bee will do to the flower. So I just walk by here every day, give the fence a little shake, which then will shake the tomatoes. And they think they're getting pollinated. That's so fun. Nature is awesome. Oh, more tomato plants. I have like 3 tomato plants, or 4. OMG. I'm gonna have so many tomatoes. Now some of them I will have to pull out. Oh, these ants are just going crazy. I'm gonna have to put some ant bait down, because you don't want to overcrowd your tomatoes. You want to have good airflow between your tomato plants so that you can prevent disease. But I'm gonna leave them just for a little bit and just see how well they do. I'll check on them every day. And oh my gosh, 2 more 6. Keep the area weeded so that the weeds don't steal the nutrients. When we amend our soil, our planting hole. And yeah, let's just see what we get from the tomato seeds that were here from last year that naturally just came back. I didn't have to do anything but just let them fall into the ground. And let's just see what we get. So I'll move her here, since I have maybe here. So exciting. I probably didn't even need to buy any tomato plants, but these are the ones that I purchased are a bit more. Oh, hey, Brooke. Hey, Mama. You checking on my work as usual? Uh-oh. Your friend talking to you? Your friend sounds angry. Can you tell them to pipe down for Mama? That would be awesome. Hey, baby. Hey, Mama. I'll be right there. I know. I'll be right there. Oh, gosh. So the plants that I got from the nursery are a bit more further along than the ones that are coming up naturally on their own. Because we did have a nice warm spring for a bit, and then we got back down to the 30s and 29 degrees, and that really does slow the growth of whatever's starting to come up. And I think that it's already June. These little ones that are here now should be higher up, further along than they are. So I just think that little cold snap did them in. But that's fine. So I have some that's that will be ready to go here soon, and then I'll have some that'll come up from the ground from seeds from last year, and that will definitely carry me through to our first frost in New York State. I'm in zone 7B, and so that's roughly around November 1st to November 15th, give or take. I'll just come back here, pull up the weeds little by little, day by day, because they will come back, while I monitor the growth of the tomatoes. Now, we want to get them watered in, but let me show you what we should use for our watering. Here is garden tone. So this would be really great when you first plant your tomatoes and they're just green and you want to have them focus on healthy leaf growth, keeping the leaves nice, healthy, and green. You want to sprinkle a bit of this around the tomato plant, or you can put a little bit in the planting hole where we put our bone meal, and this will be great. Once the tomatoes start to develop and you start seeing the tomatoes on the plant, you want to hit them with some liquid fertilizer, still organic. And this is great so that we can then start focusing on fruit growth. So some of the tomatoes here, we're going to hit them with some of this, and some we're going to sprinkle garden tone. And for the liquid growth, I just pour 2 of these capfuls into my watering can and then pour it right on the tomatoes. I'm just going to sprinkle this actually all around because the ones that are coming up from last year, they need some fertilization as well. Everyone is hungry and needs to eat, yeah? Just make sure that I don't step on the ones that I didn't plant today. There's 2 more over there. There's a couple over there. Oh boy. There's a few here. Just might be weeds. And then we have the one that already has the tomato plant on it, but I'll just start her off with some garden tone as well. We'll just water everyone in. Now you want to keep the water consistent because you don't want to have them develop root rot. So be careful not to overwater, which I know sometimes we can do because we love our plants so much. We can overlove. Well guys, there we have it. We are all done after I get them all watered in. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And thanks for hanging out with me, planting tomatoes. We'll be back to check on the progress of our tomatoes. And then we can see how to prune them. And if they have any afflictions, what to do for that. All right, guys, until the next one, take care.